So while we got the other earbud out my ear, and while we get this other video, oh well, I guess my earbud's disconnected. Whatever reason, whatever. We're getting both of them out then. But while we still got this other video uploading and processing, and then I'm still on wearing the same shirt and always seeing the same editing, which I'm not doing. So we're now going to record another video, and I didn't even prepare the script for this one yet, as in my head script, because I already had feelings I was gonna make this video anyways, but. We're going to talk a little bit about the abstract philosophy that I keep calling that. And in general, if I don't even mention that, at least I'll mention why I see the world, what I've been calling differently from everyone else, and what that means. And if I don't even mention that, I'll just talk about philosophy in general, and my weird ways of seeing the world as full cycle, and full loop. And seeing the world differently, and seeing what I think is different, and then being like, well, just how do I negotiate this any better with life? Am I ever supposed to realize I differently without being too wise or too naive? How that works, stuff like that. Oh, and soul-paced cultivation. I'll mention a little bit of soul-paced cultivation, maybe. So, yeah. Yeah, so some of the weirdest and probably down bad, low-key affirmations I'll tell myself, they're not necessarily too negative. I never gave up myself. I never really, actually thought I was lost in life. But one of the weirdest negative affirmations I always told myself without realizing it, sometimes I did know it was bad, was I wish I would be born already. Not even necessarily when my life began. That's the cliche for people in the weird era of this last 3 years. It's the idea that their life never began yet. But I would say things like, why haven't I been born yet? And I'm like, well, it's just it's a weird affirmation that was happening to be negative. I didn't mean to make it negative, but it was just there, and I try not to say that anymore. But it's just it was a weird thing I used to believe. It's on the same level of saying things like, why don't I have emotions? Why were people nihilistic? Stuff like that. That's kind of passing the blame on as well a little bit, maybe. But saying things like, why haven't I been born yet? I still feel like everything's catching up ahead of me. The fear of missing out, the things of the nature of why are people forced on objectivity, etc., stuff like that. Those are all my other philosophies. When I say abstract philosophy, I don't mean don't regard Plato or Socrates or other philosophers like Friedrich Nietzsche. Not any real philosopher, or not even real philosopher, but more like philosophers that have been known in history. Even female philosophers, which was the idea of my Wyrie's original mission statement, was to serve for female philosophy, but it was not the only way to do it, and then especially when I evolved over time. By the way, go to www.mywire.com. I'm not going to edit it into the bar, but just check it out for a bit, because I'm still editing things, so I'm still working on that side as well, and putting in the work for other stuff, so, not just why I work in other ways, but yeah. But yeah, the slow-paced cultivation comes from what I've said was seeing the world differently, and not having to be as fast as everyone else per FOMO, and not having to worry about where I was with everyone else's life. As what Giguk would say, as you get older, it is a good thing and simultaneously a bad thing to, in this same sentence, no one is telling you what to do. And there is so much truth to that. As he turns 31 last year or two ago, there is truth to what this anime reviewer is saying, is that you become someone who no one has control over, but you have to also be able to be willing to control yourself or else. And it's like not even just for the liability that is given in the luxury of being a free person, or whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. But I don't even value freedom myself. I don't value my own privacy, but I know better than to just thwart those things, privacy and freedom, as if they don't matter. Because I know that they do matter, but I just don't personally value them or prioritize them. There's a lot that goes into that as well as other things, but yeah. It's just, So what do I mean when I say that I've never been born? It's such a weird, solemn way to say that. Like, what do I mean when I say I've never been born? Well, have you ever, this is gonna go into other shit that I don't have to mention yet, but have you ever felt like when you were around things in your childhood, things just didn't seem to fit together? You were just, it was kind of gloom without doom. It feels like things are so, and this makes sense to some of you already, so things feel, and from that very early vantage point, if you can call it a vantage point, so uncomfortable. And it's like, you don't know why, but you just feel so uncomfortable. And it's not not that it was explainable. It could be explainable for other reasons, but you don't feel like you fit in anywhere, and you don't feel like things are making sense even when they already technically do. And that is the energy of something I can explain in another video. But it's like but as fairy tales I may not understand. That's the idea I get with soul-based cultivation. You're not having to worry about the fear of missing out. And this doesn't make sense even now, unfortunately, but the fear of missing out when you are soul-based cultivating is not the only solution, but it is still a hell of a good one. When you can take your time to swim in your own lane, not worrying about anyone else, not comparing to yourself to other people, then you can find for yourself that even if you're not doing what you think you should have been doing, even if it wasn't the right way to live your life, so be it, you're still getting things done. And it's like, I still have abstract philosophies about weirdly explaining, well, there's still a reason to be a materialist over a minimalist. There's still a reason to be a subjective person over an objective person. There's still a reason to compare yourself with other people, even. But it's like, that's just me living my life, even if I did that subconsciously on accident. This is weird. Those two words explain each other pretty clearly, but I didn't have to say it. But I choose to do that because I know what I'm doing, apparently, even if it didn't make sensible. And that is how I became a philosopher. I didn't choose to be one necessarily. I mean, that's me passing the blame again, unfortunately. Said in that same video twice. But being the kind of person who may have fell into this naturally and giftedly, then yes, I have enjoyed being a philosopher, but I didn't necessarily thought I was going to be one. You know, I didn't go, I think philosophy is good, let's do it. I didn't go, well, there's nothing else I can do in my life, might as well be a philosopher. I was more like, if I become a philosopher, this will still work in my favor, but I didn't know this was going to happen. So it was like, it was kind of a cold selling collection of all those things. I can end the video here. I'll just say for now, philosophy is pretty cool. It's not a dead end for anyone. If you want to try it, go ahead, because there's more to it than just thinking, right?